My name is Imbinda. I am a project manager at Food Advice. Food Advice is a free project-based education platform that is built on gamification. Now, more than 800 million people in the world are food insecure. And this makes food insecurity such a major problem in the world that needs solutions. And as Food Advice, we come in to help solve this problem. So that is why food security. Number one would be zero, no poverty. Yeah, so many people are unemployed, and when you look at the demographic of the African countries or third world countries, most of them, the biggest problem there is unemployment, and as a result, there's a lot of poverty. So as Food Advice, we come in and through the innovative entrepreneurship that we bring on board, we are able to give employment to these youths, and so we are solving that as well. We get to have young entrepreneurs and young innovators. We have an accelerator program that incubates food-based startups or startups in the food industry. So basically we bring on board young people, young innovative minds that have interesting ideas, and we connect them to experts in the industry, incubate their ideas, and in the long run, the successful ones, we get to connect them to investors and allow them to, be what they can be as entrepreneurs. We empower the young minds to become entrepreneurs. Right. Now, there's so many problems in the world today, and the food industry is one of the places or the industries that has a lot of problems, right? So, for example, I'll give an example of 65% of the world population is lactose intolerant after infancy. That right there is a gap. And for us as Food Advice, we look at these gaps as things that need solutions to the world. And we have young people who have innovative ideas, who have great minds that can think creatively and bring solutions to this world. So our work is to become a bridge, connect these people with great ideas, with experts who can guide them. Yeah, connect these once they have been able to come up with the ideas, polish them up, we coach them, we mentor them, and at the end we get them access to funding and actualize their ideas to become successful. We have one of the students that went through our accelerator program. Her name is Millicent Ngaru, and she was solving a problem of wastage. When you look at tomato, for example, as a product or a produce, it doesn't stay for long, and even in preservation, not so many people are able to preserve it. So in the long run, farmers end up losing a lot of money, losing a lot of produce in the long run. Then now we begin having problems in the supply, demand kind of shortages. And this student, Millicent, actually innovated the tomato powder. Yeah, so she's taking the tomato that would normally go to waste, dry it, and preserving it. That way, the farmer who would produce tons and tons of tomatoes and in the long run go to waste and maybe just sell a half or a quarter and the rest go to waste would be saved in terms of money. But at the same time, think about someone who is outside, for example, Africa or Kenya, and they want access to that specific type of tomatoes, and they are not able to grow it. The tomatoes are able to get to them with their flavors preserved, with the nutritional values preserved, but in a better state. So it's value addition. And that is one of just one of not among the many innovations that we have also been able to see. Right, food advice uses gamification to train, and this is our mode of training. Conventionally, it has been a sit and gate, or people come and they write notes and the like. But we use gamification. Why gamification? Because it is easier to engage. See, when you are putting someone on the spot, sometimes it becomes a bit difficult for someone to open up and freely engage with other people. But when you bring them to an environment of a game setup, it brings a safe environment to try out ideas, yeah, to test out things risk-free, to look at the different dimensions, to look at things in different perspectives, yeah. It brings a very interesting environment to learn. And even research has shown that gamification really enhances the learning experience. And what someone would ordinarily get, say a half or a quarter of it, they would end up getting more than 3/4 because their mind is engaged in a fun way. So gamification is, well, working for us very, very well, and we are glad we are using it. Right. One thing about the community is that young people, innovators come from the community. And in the long run, whatever innovation we come up with as young people or innovators, or as even a body, ends up affecting the community. So at the grassroots level, the person that feels the change the most, the person that would feel even the pain the most, would be the community. If it's a problem we're trying to solve, the community is at the core of that problem. So then community plays a very, very major role in when it comes to matters innovation, when it comes to matters youth engagement, because that is the core of everything. When we have a problem, the community feels it at most. When we have a solution, the community is the one that will be able to appreciate it the more. Number one would be access to knowledge and information. Now we have so many young people with so many great ideas, you know, and some of these people do not even know that there's, you know, someone that could fund them. They do not know that they could get the information from a given place. So I think one of the major challenges that you know, young innovators face is lack of access to information. I believe that that one innovator that, you know, has a great idea, if they have access to the right kind of experts, the right kind of industries, the right kind of stakeholders, the right kind of investors, they're able to actually come up and become very, very successful. And that is the challenge that Food Advice is here to solve, because we are coming in as a bridge. We are bringing together, these are like-minded innovators. These are people with amazing market disrupting ideas, but they do not know that they are experts in the industry in Asia, in Europe, in Africa, yeah, that could be of help to them. And they also do not know that they are ready investors, right, to, you know, invest in their ideas. So we come in as a bridge to bridge that gap between the innovators, experts in the industry, and investors as well. Another thing would be patience. You know, research has shown that the highest age that is innovating is between the ages of 20 and 30. These are young people, all right? And one of the things sometimes is the patience to just, you know, wait for something till it buds and blooms. And that is, you know, one where mentorship comes in. So at the Food Advice Accelerator, we give you access to mentorship from people who have done it, and done it again, and they have mastered that art. These are experts in the industry in different spheres, yeah? Because we have access to them and the different stakeholders in the industry, then we are able to bring these people together to mentor them to cap that challenge. And of course, I think I would also want to mention funding opportunities, yeah? People have so many great ideas, and a young person could even have access to information and come up with something that is potentially market disrupting. But because they do not have funding, then they end up, you know, just shelving their idea. And that, again, that is one other challenge that we are also solving as Food Advice, because we have an access to a pool of investors who are willing to invest in innovative ideas. So our work, bridging that gap. Now, I believe that leaders have the mandate to bring young people, innovators, to empower them, number one. Number two is to give them access to the outer world, because leaders are at a position of influence. All right. And because they are at a position of influence, they are able to, either strike partnerships on behalf of these young people. There are places they can reach that these young people cannot ordinarily reach. So it is their role as the leaders, as the people who are representing these young people, to go to those spaces and, negotiate on their behalf, bring those people and connect them. Right? Empower these young people. Ensure that they set up policies that would ordinarily benefit the young innovators. And I believe that would be the core role of leadership when it comes to innovation. Now, we have different organizations that have different programs that really young people can benefit from. And of course, research is at the core of it. We have research institutes. Let me talk about one. For example, ICIPE. They have so many amazing researchers, but they do not have someone to come and take those researchers up, those discoveries up, and actually commercialize them. We have bodies who are ready to, commercialize something, to help you commercialize an idea, but then they do not have the people who actually have those ideas. So those are some of the opportunities that are there. A young person can, approach a body and say, hey, I am here, I am willing to take this up and seek funding for it. Because at the core of everything, there are people who are available, and there are bodies and organizations that are available to actually actualize that. Another thing would be, there are so many companies and organizations that have problems that need to be solved. Let me give an example of Unilever. Unilever recently held the Great Millet Quest, right? And when they were doing that, it's because they have a problem that is millet related. And they called for young people and innovators, hey, come and innovate. Come and give us a solution to this, What can we do with this? And that is the same that is happening across, right? There's so many organizations, companies coming up with challenges, innovative challenges, coming up with accelerator programs, so many projects that are there in place of the youth. So again, the core goes back to, do the youth know? That becomes the main challenge. So there are so many opportunities that youth could look up, even using the internet, Just check out who is doing what, where, when, how, why, can I plug in, how do I become a part of this? And that becomes a really, good platform, including even the Food Advice Accelerator. I mean, we have such an amazing opportunity for young people. And this becomes such one opportunity that is, is a lifetime and is a life-changing one. So if the youth know and they apply to, projects and programs like ours, the Food Advice Accelerator, that becomes something that would potentially change their lives. So again, do the youth know? Information is at the core of it. So when, for example, the youth, you're using your phone, you're on social media, you're on the internet every other day, what are you looking at? Are you just looking at trends of people on TikTok? Or are you also using that as an opportunity to find, information? Are you also using that as an opportunity to seek for further knowledge? Are you looking at that as a place or a platform where you can find what is there for me as a youth? What could potentially be in my niche that I would be interested in, right? So again, goes back to research, goes back to using the available internet, the social media that has really, really made the world a global village, again, very, very wisely. Right, that's an interesting one. I'm a journalist by training myself, and that is a question that, of course, would really, really interest me. Now, journalists, like leaders, are also at a place of influence. Now, when I was talking about the challenges that, the youth are facing, I talked about access to information. Journalists are that bridge that says, hey, there's a gem here, there's a mine gold here. Do you know about this? Journalists are those people that bring things to the light. Journalists are the people that really empower their communities, because what a journalist is able to find, or the angle that a journalist can be able to see things and perceive things, would be different than the ordinary mwananchi, or just any other person that is from the community. So journalists really have that role to empower their community, not just by talking about things, but also displaying information, but also uncovering gems that are hidden, but also connecting the world, because as a journalist you have the ability to know what is happening in Asia. Perhaps people in your village don't even know what is happening in Asia. So it's your role, because you're part of the community. You come back home and say, hey, there's this amazing opportunity in Nairobi that is happening, and I think you guys would really benefit from it. And because journalists, again, are connected, well connected with so many different people, and they're at a point of advantage over, any other person. So again, that point of contact to empower the community through sharing authentic and useful information cuts at the core of the role of a journalist in innovation. Thank you.